We just presented an Oath Breakers Hall of Shame induction certificate to the President of the Florida Senate, Kathleen Pasadena. Yeah, here's the thing about this. You see up here in this corner, it says Oath Breaker and President Pasadena. Across the top of that circle, it says Constitution violated. It's got our logo up here. Right here, it's got the actual oath of office that they take when they swear that they're going to protect and defend and support the Constitution of the United States of America. Many of them never do. They violate it routinely, and you've got somebody ripping the Constitution in half, and then down at the bottom it says Oathbreaker Hall of Shame 2020. This is 2023 or 2024 rather. We started doing this back in 2022, or 2021 actually, and we've done it every year since. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 people that earn it. Sometimes there's 1 person that earns it, and we do it not just at the state level, but we also do it at the federal level as well. A couple of years ago, we presented an Oathbreakers Hall of Shame induction certificate to both Rick Scott and Marco Rubio for pushing red flag law at the federal level. Okay, so you violate the Constitution in our book, you're likely going to get one of these. So you can go on and keep scrolling down. Okay, Liberty Lobby Days, that's good. You can hit the button again. We do that every year. We go to Tallahassee. This year we had about 120 people in Tallahassee. Defend Florida joined with us this year, and that's an event that we do for 2 days in Tallahassee, the second week of the legislative session. And we literally try to meet with every Republican member of the Florida House and the Florida Senate to present them with our legislative agenda of the bill that we're either supporting or opposing. We also passed a petition last year calling on the governor of Florida to remove the Capitol Police from the state of Florida. I don't know how familiar you are with this, but you know the Capitol Police, they're not a federal agency actually. They're an office within the Congress. Okay, so try issuing a FOIA request. Try issuing a Freedom of Information request, okay, for the Capitol Police. They'll tell you to pound sand. They're not going to comply with a Freedom of Information request. They don't have to. That's how independent they are. And they started opening up their 2023 scorecard. Yeah, you can click on that one. Let's open that up.
I'll go back.
That's okay. But yeah, let's click on that one. See if it'll open up. Yeah, read more. Okay, so we do this at the end of every legislative session. And yeah, if you want to. So here's what happens. We have, part of what I've given you is our legislative affairs strategy. Okay, so there's 3 parts to our legislative affairs strategy. There's candidate vetting and endorsements. In the 2022 election cycle, we had over 120 candidates for the Florida House and the Florida Senate that sought our endorsement. They had to fill out their questionnaire, they had to sign the Liberty Compact. We read the questionnaire, every single questionnaire, to see who was worthy of an interview. Of 120 that filled out the questionnaire, we ended up interviewing about 86 or 7 of them. Okay, the rest of them didn't even qualify for an interview. Of the 80 some of them that we actually interviewed, we ended up making endorsements in 44 races. Keep in mind, we're not affiliated with the Republican Party, so we can endorse in primaries, and we do. And this is critically important. We're not going to wait until the general election and then just support whoever has the R behind their name. Okay, we're going to get involved in the primaries, find the best possible Liberty candidates, the best possible constitutional candidates for the Florida House and the Florida Senate, and put our support behind those people and try to get them onto the general election in the first place. So we did support 44 of them, and then I think that 19 of them actually won their primaries and went on to the general election, and then I think we had 9 or 10 that actually won the general election. So this is going to be coming up now, this scorecard, okay, so that's the first part, okay, the candidate qualification and endorsements. Then you've got your legislative session action plan, which I already mentioned, our legislative agenda of the bills that we support or oppose, and the work that we try to do with all of the legislative action alerts. That's important. And then we have, at the conclusion of every legislative session, we do a scorecard. Every single Republican member of the Florida House and every Republican member of the Florida Senate gets evaluated based on their votes, their actual votes on 20 key pieces of legislation. These are liberty bills, they're either pro-liberty or they're anti-liberty. And if they vote the way we wanted them to vote, they get 5 points. If they don't vote the way we in line with our principle on the bill, our position on the bill, they lose the 5 points. And so 20 bills, 100 points, right? That translates pretty easily into letter grades. So let me just ask you a question. So we have, out of 120 House members, we have 84 members that are Republicans. Out of 40 senators, we have 28 that are Republicans. So how many A's do you think there were in the Florida House and Senate this year, or this past legislative session? Not this session, because it hasn't come out. Anybody want to hazard a guess?
0.
5.
10.
3. And they were A minuses, by the way. They weren't actual A's. They were A minuses. They scored a 90. Only 3 got a 90. How many B's do you think there were?
5.
Okay, now keep in mind, we have 84 Republicans in the House, and we have 28 Republicans in the Senate.
7.
17 B's, or B minuses. Everybody else was a C, a C minus, or a D, or an F. I want you to go all the way out. If you go up to go out here to legislation, click on that for me, okay? I don't want the scorecard. Okay. That's what it looks like, by the way. You can go to our scorecard and we give you a detailed explanation of how we put it all together and what's included in it. Yeah, just click on legislation right there. Okay, now, click right here. It says click to view our bill tracker. Okay, so if you go to our bill tracker, you can see we break it down into categories. You got election integrity, you've got gun rights, you've got health freedom, you've got government regulation, you've got these different categories, and we have analyzed every single one of the bills that you will see on our bill tracker, tell you what it does, who the sponsors are, whether or not we support it, and there's probably, we have anywhere from 50 to 70 bills on the bill tracker, and then we take from those bill tracker bills, we'll reduce that number down to, this year we had about 24 bills, I think, that actually made it onto our legislative agenda that we used up in Tallahassee. But you can go to the bill tracker. We'll be updating this now that the session's almost over. I got one more thing to tell you about. This is part 3 to the puzzle of our legislative affairs strategy. This is Liberty First 2024, Restoring the Republic. How many people want to restore the Republic? Every hand in the room goes up, but nobody has a plan. Now you've got a plan. I would encourage you to please study this. As I mentioned, we make endorsements in the Florida House and the Senate. This is a fundraising program. We want to raise enough money to put it behind these candidates that we're endorsing so that we can get more Liberty candidates in the Florida legislature, with the ultimate goal being that we will establish a Freedom Caucus within the Florida House and then ultimately within the Florida Senate, just like the Freedom Caucus that they have up in Washington, D.C. That's how serious we are about that. This little QR code on the back will take you right to the donation page. Don't pay any attention to these big categories unless you want to give us $10,000. We'll be happy to give you $10,000. But you know what? On that donation page, you can sign up to contribute $10 or $15 or $20 a month or one time. And I guarantee you, like the widow's mite, right? Doesn't matter the size of the contribution, it just matters that everybody gives whatever they can, whatever they're comfortable with. And everybody's contribution is going to be appreciated every bit as much as anybody else's. So I would encourage you to please read this through, then go to the website and make a contribution. We've raised to date, we just launched this in September of last year, September the 24th. We took in about $15,000 the day that we launched it. Since that time, we've taken in about another $20,000, and that's with the holidays and with the legislative session. I'm fixing to start traveling all over the state of Florida. The goal is for this year, since it's all brand new, we want to try to get to $100,000 minimum this year, and then when we roll into the 2026 election cycle, we want that number to expand exponentially. So anyway, my wife will tell you, I've never met a microphone I didn't like. Thank you for having me. I'm out of here.
I've been a member of RLC for years and appreciate what Bob does in the local clubs too. So we'll feel free to network with him afterwards. That's great stuff. Aaron, are you available to speak? Okay, we have Aaron. Oh, we do have sandwiches.